Good morning, everybody, and this is your Dow Jones setup for today. So onwards and upwards, we are in a zone of strong resistance, and I'm not going to put all the levels in here, but there are quite a few. So every single fractal tail is going to be a potential level, and you can see we are paying attention to this 38,585 at the moment. Look at my oscillators. They have separated and it looks like they're rolling. So I'd be very cautious of jumping in long here. I would be expecting some kind of a pullback onto structure. Where that pullback is another conversation completely. And we're going to try and decipher it, but let's just get the most logical levels. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm picking up the tails of what looks like the most logical area where price would bounce. I just want to highlight something on the daily before we get going, and that nice juicy tail here, grouping to the downside, crossover pointing up. So from a daily perspective, we've got you've got a pretty strong trend to the upside. The only thing bearish at the moment is this crossover of moving averages. Now, if you just back test this, you're going to see very rare that you just fly through and continue to the upside. You tend to either range or pull back while these moving averages come closer and closer together till they eventually cross over. And then you get the structure that we had the last couple of months from November, basically. Okay, so be very cautious of just assuming that it's going to continue, because we're in a strong zone of confusion here. You can see we were sideways for quite some time, 2 months basically, before we broke through. We tried to find support this month, and then we broke to the downside, and now we're back in the zone. So be very, very cautious of just assuming that we're going to the moon. Now, I am looking for longs. There's no debate about that. The problem is I do not want to be long when my oscillators are grouped to the upside like this. I'd rather be looking for a better position lower down. Now you can see the levels that I've drawn in, 38,411, 38,348, 38,200, and even these tails here would also come into play. So at the moment, I am very, very cautious. We do have a crossover of the moving averages, but we haven't crossed over the 150 yet. And the last test is going to be a move past the 150. The 150 crosses over the moving average, the faster moving averages, and then we come back to test it, build a base, and that's kind of the last gasp confirmation on the higher time frames for me that we have a trend reversal. So for now, on the 1 hour, we have a trend reversal. You can see what I've just spoken about. We've got a crossover of the moving averages here above the 150. Eventually the 150 crossed over and price came back to test it. Now that was on Tuesday before squirting up and then coming back for a move to the upside. Now this little level there, see we've built we were ranging yesterday, then popped up above it, and now we're bumping ahead on 38,585, which is a fairly strong level. So for me, we have the FANG stocks coming out with their earnings. So Meta or Facebook starts today, Google tomorrow, and so we'll continue the week like that. I'm very reluctant just to jump in short up here. I'd prefer to be jumping in short lower down. But if you look at the price action of yesterday, look at this. Look at your oscillators, complete confusion. And then we've got this gap here as well, which is around 38,350, which we also need to pay attention to. So I'm very, very cautious of this right now. These levels I've given you at 38,411, 38,350, and then the bottom end of, well, the low of yesterday at 38,252 are all areas that I would be paying attention to. And then obviously the 15-minute brings this one into play as well, which is 38,485. So any pullback onto these levels, I would expect another attempt to get into this zone at 38,585 and 38,650. But although the lower time frames have got confirmation of a trend reversal, the one that we're really looking for is the 3-hour, and we're only halfway there. So I'd be very cautious, because this, as it's standing now, just depends what noise comes out. Could turn out to be a flag. It just plummets all the way back down again, to come and find structure sort of in this area here at 38,042, 3800. So be very careful about just assuming that this thing is on this way. And the reason I say that is the daily we have a moving average crossover, sorry, and we're in between the 150 and the moving averages. So that's always an indication that we're going to range a bit. And even if you come out to the weekly, you're going to see we're in amongst the moving averages there, but that's more of a bullish outlook that we have at the moment. But the problem is, if you can stomach 1,480 or 1,500 point stop loss, then by all means jump in. But for us mere mortals who prefer to stomach 100 point to 150 point stop losses, then rather wait for better structure. And you can see when I zoom out, there's a lot going on in this area. So wait for the pullback onto the level, look for your pin bars, your inside bars, your engulfing bars, and take your trade there with a decent 150, no more than 200 point stop loss for a move back up to the next logical bit of structure. Hope that helps, and we will catch up with you tomorrow. Cheers for now.